Hi, beautiful friends. Are you ready to read? Yesterday, we were able to read 2 whole pages of a book together. And we did that by using 2 strategies that we learned to help us read. The first strategy that we were using yesterday was to say the words we knew. So we were working on the word the. Whenever we saw THE written in the book, we said the word the. Because we knew what this word looked like, we didn't need to sound it out or think about it. So our first strategy was to say the words we knew. Our second strategy was when we came across a word we didn't know, we used the picture as a clue. So we saw this word COW and we didn't know what it said. So we used the picture of a cow to help us guess that COW spells cow. Now today, we're going to read 3 new pages of the same book. And we're going to use the strategies we learned yesterday, saying the words we know and using the pictures as clues, but I'm also going to teach you 2 new strategies. So let's look back at the pages that we read yesterday. Our first page said, the cow. And our second page said, the duck. So those pages had a pattern. And noticing patterns and following patterns is the next strategy that we're going to use to become good readers. The pattern on those pages was a pattern of 2 words. Both pages had 2 words. The first word was a word that stayed the same. On every page, the first word was the. That word didn't change. The second word did change. First we saw cow, and then we saw duck. So the pattern that we have here is a 2-word pattern where the first word stays the same and the second word changes between different animals. We have cow and duck. Today we're going to read pages with the same pattern, so we can predict or guess that the first word will always be the, and the second word will always be an animal name. It might not be cow or duck because every page changes, but we can use the illustration and know that the word will be an animal's name. Let's take a look at a new page. Here's our first page. We have a picture of an animal at the top, and we have the 2 words of our pattern at the bottom. The pattern that this book has been following starts with the and ends with an animal name. We read a page that said the cow and another that said the duck. So we can predict that this page starts with the. We also know that the is spelled THE. So look at this word. Does it say the? Yes, it does. The. Then we have the second word. We know that this pattern starts with the and ends with an animal name. Look at the illustration. What animal is that? I bet this word names that animal. It's a sheep, so I predict that this word says sheep. Now read the page following the pattern. The sheep. Great work! You read that page using the pattern. Our pattern again had 2 words. The first word was the because the first word in our pattern doesn't change, and the second word did change to a new animal, sheep. So we read the sheep. So now we have 3 reading strategies. First, we say the words we know. And with this strategy, we can practice and learn new words, but we don't really have to worry about these words when we're reading because we already know them. We'll always get them right as long as we're practicing and practicing and practicing and trying to remember these words. Then we have 2 strategies for figuring out the words we don't know. We can use illustrations and we can use patterns to help us predict words that we don't know. But remember last week when we talked about predictions? We learned that predictions were guesses about what might happen. And we also saw that when we made predictions in a book, our predictions were not always right about what happened. So we can use illustrations and we can use patterns to make a guess about what a word might be. But you know what? We might not always be right, which is why we need a 4th strategy. The 4th strategy that we're going to be practicing this week is using the clues in words to help us better predict or know what word that is. So we're going to use two types of word clues. The first word clue we're going to use is how long or short a word is. That's going to help us make a better prediction. And the second clue we're going to use is the letters in words, because we know what sounds letters make. So let's take a look at a new page, and we're going to practice using the length of a word, so how long or short it is, to make a prediction about what the word is. So here's our next page. We have an illustration of an animal at the top, and we have a pattern of two words at the bottom, but I've hidden the words so that we can practice our strategies. You see two black boxes where the word should be. We know what the first word in our pattern is. The first word in our pattern is always the, T-H-E. Let's check if the first word is the. There's the first word. We know based on the pattern that it should say the. Now we can see that the letters are T-H-E. This word says the. Now let's talk about the second word in the pattern. We can't see the word yet, but based on the pattern, we know it should be an animal name. So let's look at the illustration to make a guess. I see a picture of a bird that lives on a farm. But you know what? That bird has two names. I've heard it called a chicken and a hen. So using the picture alone, I can't know what that word is going to say, because it could say chicken and it could say hen. So before I reveal that word, I want to look at our two options. The first option we have is hen. How many syllables does hen have? Hen. Hen has one syllable. Let's talk about the word chicken. How many syllables does chicken have? Chicken. Chicken. Chicken has two syllables. When you look at these two words, we have one that's short and one that's long. Which do you think is the short word? I think the short word is hen, because hen has one syllable. And I think that chicken, which has two syllables, will be the longer word. So now we're going to look at the word, and I want you to decide if you think that is a short little word or a long word. And then you should decide if the word would be hen or chicken. Dun 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 dun! Here's our second word. Let's look at it. That word looks really long to me. It has 7 letters. If I'm trying to decide between hen and chicken, I would guess chicken, because chicken has 2 syllables, but hen only has 1. So I would guess that this word says chicken. So now we can read our page. The chicken. Great job, my little readers. You used all of our strategies to read that page. You saw the word the and you just said it because you knew it. You also knew that the pattern for every page was the word the followed by an animal. So we knew we were trying to figure out a word that would be an animal's name. You looked at the illustration to decide what animal, but you couldn't figure it out. You knew it was either a chicken or a hen. Then you needed to think about the word chicken and the word hen. You thought about the word chicken and knew that it was a long word with lots of letters and 2 syllables, whereas the word hen is a short 1-syllable word and it only has 3 letters. So when we showed you the word, you knew that it must be chicken instead of hen because it was a long word. Amazing work. Are you guys ready for the last page? I think you're going to be able to read it. So we know that following our pattern, the first word will be the, and the second word will be an animal's name. We know the word the, so we can just say it. Then when we get to the animal's name, you're going to use the illustration to help you guess. This time, we're not going to talk about how long or short the word is. We're going to talk about the letters and the letter sounds in the word. So when you see and you name the illustration, I want you to think about what letters should be in that word. Then I'm going to show you the word, and I want you to decide if what you thought in your mind about the letters of the word and what the letters actually say match. Here's the last page for today. We have a picture of an animal on top, and then we have the 2-word pattern on the bottom, but I've hidden the words so we can practice our strategies. Let's try to figure out the first word. What are some of the strategies we've been using to figure out that word? We've been using the pattern to say the first word because we know the pattern of this book is always the and then an animal name. So this first word should be the. Ah, there's the word. Now we can use another strategy. We can also say the words we know. We know that T-H-E spells the, so every time we see T-H-E, we'll just say the word the. So by using our pattern and saying the words we know this word is the. Now let's talk about this second word. We can't see it yet, but let's use the strategies we know to try to figure out what it will say. So using the pattern, we know this word should name an animal. Now let's look at the picture. I think that this word is going to be dog. I see a dog in the picture, so my prediction is that the word is going to say dog. Now let's think about the sounds we hear in dog, and let's check the word to see if we're right. Dog, dog. I hear the sound D at the beginning of dog. What letter makes the sound D? D. It should be the letter D. Let's look at the word and see if it matches. And there it is. The first letter in the word is D. We guessed that the word would say dog, and it looks like we're going to be right. Now let's talk about the other sounds we hear in dog. Dog. I hear some other sounds in there. Dog. I hear a G at the end. That means the last letter should be the letter G, because G says G. Do you hear any other sounds in there? D-og, d-og. I hear an O in the middle. So I bet this word will be D-O-G, d-og. Right again. The last 2 letters in our word are O-G, og. So our word is D-O-G. D-og, which are the sounds we heard for the word dog. So we use the pattern of the book to predict that this word would be an animal name. Then we use the illustration to guess that the word would say dog. Then we listened for the letter sounds in dog and used the letters of the word to check our answer. And we were right. D-O-G, dog. Now let's read our page. The dog. Excellent job, little readers. You knew that the first word was the because you know this word. And you also know that the pattern is the and an animal's name. Then, for the animal, you looked at the illustration and you thought, it's a dog. But you also thought, what sounds are in the word dog? D-og. Then you checked your answer. D, that's the letter D. Ah, that's the letter O. G, that's the letter G. D-og. Are those the sounds you hear in the word dog? Yes. So we knew that our answer was correct. The is the first word in our pattern, and dog is an animal name, so we have the dog. Congratulations on learning 2 more reading strategies and reading 3 pages of a book all by yourselves. You guys are doing so well, and I can't wait to work more on this tomorrow. See you then. Bye.